because I just not gonna do it. You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna do it. I mean,
a lot of the data.
I just, because it's like when I'm done streaming, I just want to just look what's out there, going around, and then like I don't want to like get to like, oh man, that is not my thing. Wait,
Totally. You just want to show up, say what you got to say,
yeah,
and then move on with your life because that's all you really care to do. But there's all the other stuff that comes along with this, such as having the links or the videos or the audio clips or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we live in a world, we live in a society where everybody wants to see proof of everything. And I really like kind of like the discussion that you've been having, at least for the past 10 minutes or so, with people trying to help them, trying to walk them through the process of, I guess, critical thinking.
Yeah.
Because it's like we take for granted that everybody has the same background as we do, has done a bunch of research, is like really like kind of suspect, thinking that a lot of things are suspect. But, a lot of, for a lot of people, I think, especially the younger ones, they're, this is like their first like crisis or whatever, this is the first time that they're confronted with, cold hard reality.
Yeah.
So, we can, I was thinking about it earlier and I was like, wow, you already have an active audience here and, it's interesting to hear you talk about like how the viewership dropped. So, I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, well, even if you have less of an audience, we can still build it back up. Because I was thinking like, okay, maybe I should just kind of like produce your streams sometimes because I can load up all the stuff.
And you know how I am now. You know that's the part that I don't like to do. I just don't like
man. No, it's okay. It's totally fine. I get it. I mean, luckily I've been the guy that people produce for, and I can also be the guy that, produces for people. And maybe that would be, I think people would be into that. I don't know. Maybe the chat will say this is a good idea or not a good idea, because I feel like you're in such a good position because you know what you're talking about. It just needs like some of the extra details, like the bells and whistles of the stream that like I know you don't even want to do.
Today I did for the first time in like ever. I brought remember the voice message of the doctor, the virologist, talking about this. I put it on screen, and like I normally don't even do that.
The one I sent you?
Mm-hmm. So it was
the one I sent you?
Yeah, it was on different parts. I got one that was the full one. So like, because that way I sent it to my email and then I put it on. And this man was. What?
That's such a process.
So it's okay. Like but I'm like, Geisha, at least I did that one. But there's so much information out there. And normally I focus on just covering and different topics and mostly just trying to let people just see that they can view things and have conclusions, many conclusions of even one particular topic. They forget that. Truth is not absolute where you go around, anybody can come and say like, oh, this is what it is and that's it. No, it's not like that. But then again, people will pay enormous amounts of money to impose that beliefs into others and then just like make it an absolute thing. And it's like, no, guys, they don't want you to question. They don't want you to have different conclusions of just thinking for yourself. And that's the only thing I want for my audience. And then we don't want to force you, neither me or him. We're not trying to like convince you to that. It's just see what's going on, and you connect yourself, the dots. See if something here makes sense to you. See if something here maybe oh wait, I didn't think of that, or just for your entertainment, doesn't matter. But for us, it matters right now that the world is going through, there's like massive lockdowns everywhere and all that. And the only thing that is changing that is that the people are standing up. People in Portugal recently, did you see what happened in Portugal? That they refused to do lockdowns. And
I haven't seen anything from Portugal specifically, but I have been seeing the anti-lockdown protests in other parts of Europe.
And another scenario was sheriffs refused to charge people, like to what's it called, press you, what's the English term, like arrest you or something if you don't follow the lockdown guidelines. And
yes, Orange County and also
Ventura?
New York.
Well, Ventura, Orange County.
Yeah, like some sheriffs or some police departments have said that they're not going to enforce this Thanksgiving lockdown. What bullshit that they're trying to pull. I can't even believe. It's funny to be in Vegas, but still have friends in LA, and they're like all talking about lockdown round 2, and I'm just like, how do you people even take this seriously? Like it's been almost 9 months now.
Yeah.
If the idea of lockdowns worked, if the first lockdown worked, why do we need a second one? Mm-hmm. And if the first lockdown didn't work, why would we try it again? Like it makes zero sense. But I think we're starting to see a little bit of progress because Thanksgiving and Christmas, these are things, and people are just going to have to decide that enough is enough. And it doesn't need to, it might come to protests. It might, just end up, people just disregarding what, people are saying. What the authorities are saying. But, people now's the time, people, because if we just lay down and die about this in the same way that we laid down the first time, then it's just going to keep on going because you give these people an inch and they take a foot.
See, for example, the public opinion. Sometimes, when they have another view of it, they will say, like this one said, well, the first lockdown didn't work because people. Again, we go blaming the people that it was their fault that the lockdown didn't work in New York. And then another one here said that something about the mask, because this is one of the things that it will be interesting for them to see the other side and not just the one that they're told on a daily basis. So this one says, do we all agree that there is a virus and masks stop the spread? Okay, so they want us all to agree that the mask stop the spread. It's important to start with what should we do, and then and it's. So the problem is that's what you're told, but then there's a lot of people also bringing studies and information that backs it up, that not necessarily is what you're told. There's also another version. So I do agree that we should get together and figure it out. Let's see, you tell me what you see, I tell you what we've seen, and then it's up to you what you decide. We're not gonna try to force you into thinking or acting a certain way, because all of us should be able to think and and do and be responsible and do what we need to do.
Right.
Do you have anything on that?
We don't need to tell anybody what to think. The truth speaks for itself, because and I'm sure, Geisha, you've experienced the same thing. Like, when you've seen the sheer amount of articles and videos and all this stuff, it's very clear what's going on. It's just that, and I think most people, if they saw that amount that we consumed, they would think about all this stuff the same way as we do. Because all you have to do is put in enough work to see what's going on. And, it's not going to be like like one thing that like changes your mind. It's just kind of, it's just like, oh, when you actually see what's going on, because people are like showing it to you, eventually you're just like, oh yeah, all right, well, this is the way it is.
How many lockdowns does one need in order to be free? Is my question. Because I remember like it was yesterday when the pandemic or the whatever started, and there was a curfew and a lockdown, and I remember nobody
15
went
days
out.
to slow the spread.
Nobody went out. People were locked in their homes. People were dressed up like scientists, like hover with glasses and everything. It was incredible the amount of work that people put into this when we were told about locking ourselves and da 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 da. So
That's true.
how long until people realize, like, is it really, like, do we really need to lock ourselves out? Because it didn't really, now more people go out, and it doesn't seem like it's what we're gonna do. What are we gonna do?